Chapter 11, The Chronicler's Tale. I first met the children in the hall of Lord Bertolf and Lady Galbert Bertolf. Lord Bertolf, you may know, is a great man. By that I mean he's very chunky. He's about as round as he is tall, and he has no hair on him, not anywhere. His eyebrows are bare, his head is bare, his cheeks are bare as a baby's bottom, but chubbier. He's not a great lord. He's not even really a middling lord. He's got an estate and a stone keep and a wall around his bailey, but the wall is made out of wood and it isn't all that high. He hails from Flanders, which means he has an accent even stranger than mine. His S's are like Z's, and his F's are like V's. He's a weird little man, if I'm to be honest, and I always am. It's my vocation. His wife, Lady Galbert Bertolf, is from a fine family here in the Valley Ouse. She's even shorter than her husband. She looks like a little vole, really. She's very warm and very kind, until you threaten her money, that is. Then she shuts up like a clam, she does, and bites like a badger. On the evening in question, I was sitting at their high table with them in their great hall. It's a low and musty place with dozens of tables and a dirt floor and a raised dais with a moldy old tapestry behind the high table. 6 dirty knots came striding in like they were the most important people in the world. Behind them, slinking like beaten cats, were 2 children. I noticed the red marks of ropes recently removed from their throats. The lord and the lady welcomed the knights warmly. Well, the lady did. Lord Bertolf just sat in his chair behind the table, like a stick of butter slowly melting. Come here, the lady cried, leaping down from the dais and bustling over from night to night. Then she swept Fabian up to the high table and asked him for his report. I saw the boy, Jacob, leaning over to the girl, Jeanne, and he said, "Fabian works for them?" He whispered. "I thought he was working for Michelangelo de Bologna." Jean also looked perplexed. Then she was grabbed by the arm, and Jacob was grabbed by his, and the knights took them to the nearest corner out of earshot of Fabian and the Bertolfs. Jacob wrinkled his nose. Jean covered her mouth. This was the corner where the lord and the lady relieved themselves during dinners and banquets. Ooh. I watched from the floor as Bertolf and his wife huddled with Sir Fabian. At first, the knight was talking and gesticulating and pointing to the 2 children. But then Lady Galbert Bertolf took over, and Fabian's eyes went wider and wider as she spoke. Finally, he stood up like a bolt. He toppled the bench over and staring at Jeanne and pointing. "She's a witch," he's shouting. "A sorceress, a pagan witch." For Jeanne, the world stopped moving. I could see it in her face. Fabian was frozen for her. His words were echoing over and over in her ears. The bald knight was saying, "What is it, Fabian? What's happened?" And Fabian answered, "There is a dragon." We stood on the ramparts of the keep, looking out between the stone crenellations at the bare trees and the scarred hills of Bertolf's domain. The air was still and warm for early March, A yellow haze descended upon the horizon. Lord Bertolf pointed at me with a finger like a butter churn. You, he barks, his accent more Flemish than French. Tell what you know about this dragon. The knights and the children, the lord and the lady, they all turn to me and they listen. Last month, I arrived from Scotland, looking to chronicle all that is weird and worthy of being written down. Soon after my arrival, I was told of a horrible beast that was terrorizing the people of Flanders. It was a wingless dragon, and they said it came up out of the sea. That may be so, for it was black and sea green and spattered with sharp little bumps like barnacles. It began by attacking some small creatures, chickens and cats mostly. But it grew and it grew and it moved on to sheep. Now it's so large that it can kill and devour a bull in an afternoon. Nor does it only kill animals. It has killed many a brave knight who has tried to challenge it. At first, it killed with its teeth and its claws, which are large and deadly enough. But it has late developed a new diabolical power. I first witnessed it in Burgundy. I had followed the beast there and chronicling all of its devastations. In Burgundy, the great knight Sir Ewan the Bold was setting out to fight the dragon. He was shimmering in his armor, his red crest shining like the rising sun. A group of us followed, intent to see the great champion bring down the beast. He discovered it in the ruins of a famous inn, the Ale and Cheese. The patrons and the innkeeper were all scattered or dead, and the dragon was making quick work of all the provisions that they had left behind. Sir Ewan drove the dragon from the inn by setting the ruins ablaze. Then, in a pasture beyond, they fought. Sir Ewan spurred his horse and charged the beast. He leveled his lance, aiming right between the dragon's eyes. The dragon faced him, and then, in a moment of cowardice or treachery, he turned and he expelled a great and thunderous fart. I must admit, we, the spectators, laughed at first. But when the wave of the fart hit brave Sir Ewan, he and his horse, his armor and his lance all burst into flame. He screamed, and the dragon fled, and we stood powerless as Sir Ewan roasted in his own armor. At that point, Jacob interrupted me. Wait, you're saying it kills people by farting on them? I nodded gravely. It has deadly farts? Yes. Poisonous gas passing? Jean muttered. We get it, Jacob. Its farts are so smelly that you burst into flames? I don't know why you find this so hard to believe. I don't know why you don't find this so hard to believe. Lord Bertolf held up a flabby white hand. He turned to Jean. All this you foresaw, little witch? Jean hesitated. She looked at me. Then little Jacob reached out and took her hand. She looked down, surprised. Now that I know more about Jacob, I understand why. But I'd never seen a Jew and a Christian holding hands either. but Jean seemed to take strength from it. She said, I didn't foresee it all, but the dragon I did. Also, I foresaw sickness in the land. There your magic fails you, little sorceress, Bertolf replied. There is no sickness here. He turned to Fabian. So, will you fight it? Fabian took a step back. What? Fight it? You're joking. What? Are you scared? No, said Fabian, looking very scared indeed. I just, why should I? There would be a great reward. Great enough to buy my life back? Ah, so you are scared. I didn't think that. A high, thin voice interrupted Lord Bertolf. Jacob can fight it? We all turned in the direction of the voice. It was Jean's. What did you say? Jacob can fight it, the little girl said again. Wait, what? Jacob demanded. You can. I can what? You can defeat the dragon. That is ludicrous, said Lady Gilbert Bertolf. Yes, it is, Jacob agreed. No, it isn't. Just as I see the future, Jacob has powers of his own. Jacob retracted his hand from Jean's. His abilities are far greater than mine. That's not true, but Jean cut him off. With my help and the help of these brave knights, that description seemed to surprise Fabian and his comrades, I can tell you. Jacob's magic can overcome the dragon. I find this hard to believe, Bertolf muttered. So do I, said Jacob. But, Jean said, if we conquer the dragon, you've got to let us go free. We were peacefully on our way to see the abbot of Saint-Denis when we were unlawfully kidnapped by these brave knights. Lord Bertolf squinted at Jean. You were on your way to Saint-Denis? Jean nodded. Lord Bertolf's bare brow folded into a dozen furrows. At last he said, Fine. You rid us of this dragon, and Sir Fabian and his knights will escort you to Saint-Denis under my own banner. Wait, said Jean. Not to Michelangelo de Bologna, only to Abbot Hubert and no one else. Bertolf studied Jean. He had never negotiated with a little girl before, much less a peasant girl. After a moment, he said, Fine, as you wish. You swear? Jean said. I swear, Bertolf replied. Wait, said Jacob. I'm supposed to kill the dragon? Shall I go on? Gerald the Scot asks. Yes, we all cry at once. It's not easy to tell this story. Please, we all say, don't stop now. When I'm so thirsty, Gerald concludes. We all laugh, and I say, for God's sake, get him another drink, now. The innkeeper obliges, and Gerald goes on.